That's karma for making me drink that stuff earlier. Johnny has, Johnny has stuff. It's because it's an apple. All right. All right. So we are going to go. Mr. Christmas loves to talk, so we're going to start at noon. Johnny will finish about 5 p.m., and then we'll have lunch. About this gentleman, Johnny Christmas. He has been here. This is his third year here, I believe. Third year. A Chicago native. We won't hold it against him, but, he is one of our Midwest boys. I first met Johnny in Reykjavik, going to B-Sides Iceland. I thought I was the only American, and then all of a sudden there's some dude speaking Chicagan. Tree. Get me up by tree. I knew that he was a kindred spirit when he referred to XP as the Swiss cheese of all operating systems. I've been able to hang out with Johnny quite a bit, and we've done some work together. I've been able to sit with his talks. He's an old school BBSer. He's an old school just computer guy like me. He is a pen tester at Red Leg Security. Decades of experience. This guy is no nonsense. He is going to give you a wonderful talk. So without further ado, Johnny Christmas. Give him 1 sec.
Check. There we go. How's that? Nice.
I think we need to call IT.
Yeah. Well, I think we all know that as soon as you connect a projector to a laptop, there's all sorts of evil magic that happens. I can't reboot this. It's a Mac. I don't even think you can reboot Macs. They just work. You don't ever...
I got it. Try this dongle.
If I had $1 for every time you said that to me.
I said that to a lot of people. I have a lot of dongles.
It looks like it. That's the correct response.
This is a little shorter than the last one.
It's all in it. It's all in how you use it. Yeah. That looks better. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. Yep. Thank you. So it's not the size of the dongle that matters. All right. That looks good. That'll work. All right. I'm Johnny Christmas, as you guys know. Who's seen me speak before on any topic? It's a lot of this room. Thank you guys for coming back. I've got a Chicago-only horrible herbal liqueur up here called Malort that I will be drinking every time I screw something up. If anybody else wants to try something you can't get anywhere else that will mess you up for the rest of the day, feel free to bring a cup up and enjoy it with me. And then I've also got my coffee here. This talk is one that I've done in a couple of other places. I was recently at ThoughtCon in Chicago, and it took me and my partner Ben Brown 2 hours and 40 minutes to get through all of it. So I'm going to have to scream through a lot of this stuff and not dwell too much on any one topic. I will be here through the rest of today and all through tomorrow. So if you want me to extrapolate on anything that I talk about here, I can. But unfortunately, I've got to keep it kind of brief for the time period that we have. I know I'm already keeping you guys from lunch. And so it's super cool that you guys stayed, because I'm hungry too, and you're hungry, and we're all ornery. And getting angry at the dark web is a great way to deal with that. So the whole purpose of me doing this talk was to kind of give everyone a rundown of what's actually going on in the dark web, because the media is super afraid of it for some reason. They reference the dark web, and they reference it as a place where you go to buy drugs, guns, and people, which it is. But there's a lot of other stuff out there too, and it's totally legal to access in the U.S. We're protected by the First Amendment. You're allowed to search for most anything that you want on there, and you can read anything, and it's totally fine. You're not going to get reported to the FBI because you used Tor to access the dark web. Like, there's all these misconceptions going on that are just crazy. I would submit that the dark web is actually a safer place to surf than the clear web, because there's much less malware, there's much less drive-bys going on, there's almost no JavaScript whatsoever. It's pretty great. So that's like, regardless of what I'm showing you here, everyone go get on Tor and start surfing the dark web. It's a fantastic time. Purpose of this talk specifically is to kind of show you all the things you can buy and do on the dark web, one after another. And so let's get to it. My name, again, is Johnny Christmas. Some of you may remember me as the 3D printed TSA master keys guy. I was on Fox News, Wired, and Gadget, Boing Boing, you name it. If it's a tech news source, they featured the TSA keys. Who remembers the TSA master keys leak? Yeah, all right. This guy and a couple others that I worked with. So that was me. I'm a penetration tester for a Chicago-based firm called Redleg, and also a goth industrial musician. Band name is Cruciform Injection. Really cool to be able to plug my band at a hacker conference. We have GIFs, so that's me on the right. And getting to it. Today we're going to talk about the dark web, the dark net, the deep web, the deep net, the deep dark, the dark, the dank net, the derp net. The joke here is that every time you hear the media talking about the dark web, they give it a different name, and they mix all these names together, and they're never sure exactly what they're referencing, because nobody who's talking about it or wrote that has ever actually bothered. So, like, real quick recap, so you will know what the correct terms are for everything, and then you can, like, be all smug and correct other people when they do it wrong. If you could try to see it up there, the real big circle, the outer circle, that's the internet. That's the entirety of the internet. That's all the internet's infrastructure out there. The big green circle at the top, that's your World Wide Web. That's the stuff you're searching you're looking through in Chrome. That's the stuff that your Google searches and your Bing searches find. And then the red circle inside there is the deep web. That's the stuff that's not going to come up in a Google search. What kind of stuff is out there that you can access with a regular browser that Google searching doesn't show you? Throw up a hand, shout it out, anybody. Talking about, what's that? Corporate intranets, absolutely. Databases that are on there, like you're not going to be able to get anything behind a paywall. So academic paywalls, they're right there, they're on the surface web, you get to them through Chrome, but because Google can't catalog them because it's behind a paywall, that falls into the deep web category. So that's the deep web right there. You're probably in the deep web all the time. And don't use it. If your Facebook page is completely locked down and private, you have a deep web Facebook page. So now you can put that on your business card. Oh, deep web Facebook. That's funny because actually, Facebook also has a dark web site. So the green circle below there, that's your dark net, and that's all of your infrastructure, that's on the internet. That's pretty much just not web servers. So that's your email servers, things like that, your database servers. Again, infrastructure, the network that isn't part of serving up web pages. That's all the dark net is. Just that. Again, stuff you use every day, didn't know. And then within that dark net, you've got the dark web. That's the stuff that has alternative internet routing methodology for get to. That's the web pages that maybe aren't behind any kind of paywall, but like Google and Bing can't get to for various reasons because they're not set up like that, although that's starting to change. Another easier way of looking at it is like you've got Google and Bing on the surface of the ocean of the interweb, and you've got all your websites there like Wikipedia, Twitter, Amazon that they're able to catch in their nets and catalog. Below them, there's your bigger stuff that they can't get to, your databases, academic journals, like I said. And then you've got that Tor network. Everybody here knows what Tor is? Anybody know? Should I go over Tor real quick? Yeah, I think we're good. Everybody knows what Tor is. So Tor is the alternative internet routing methodologies where you can get to the super sketchy stuff, the stuff that hides where you're coming from and where you're going to and vice versa on the server side. And that's where you get, again, the sketchy stuff, your illegal porn, your political dissonance. But there's also cool stuff on there. Like there's people who just run blogs who just want to be more anonymous, and they run a blog on the dark web. Like it's not a big deal. So there's your technical description of everything. I know you guys really just want to start buying stuff. So let's get into that, except that you can't just go on the dark web and buy stuff. We have to talk first about like hiding the fact that it's you and where your money came from, because you're probably buying something on the dark web that's not available on the clear web or is clearly being sold by police on the clear web. And so you want to anonymize yourself. What's the best way of anonymizing the money that you're spending anywhere? Bitcoin? Everyone's saying Bitcoin. Is Bitcoin anonymous? 2 no's. Why not? But the transactions don't have your name on them. There you go. Metadata. So even though like you don't have a name on your Bitcoin account, just like the old Swiss bank account numbers back in the day where you just show up with a number and they're like, okay, that's fine. Bitcoin's the same, but by looking at the transactions you're making, and the transaction that the merchants are making, it's real easy sometimes for the feds to be able to sync those two things up. Like if you took out $3,000 from your bank account and then bought $3,000 worth of Bitcoins, and then some merchant sold a bunch of guns for $3,000, and then they busted that merchant and saw that he shipped them to your town, they're probably going to put 2 and 2 together and figure out that that might be you. So first thing you want to make sure of is you're not directly spending the Bitcoins that you purchased with your money. Those very definitely unofficially have your name on them. So you do want to buy Bitcoins or some kind of alternative coins. I mean, here's a short list of every possible altcoin that's out there. The big ones being used on dark web right now are your Bitcoin, Z-Money, OKPay, Web Money. Like, so Web Money and Perfect Money, they're kind of going off to the side. But Zcash, I would say a lot of people are moving to now because it's got a lot more privacy built into just putting money into it and taking money out of it. But I'd say Bitcoin still by far the number one thing going on in there. Or you got to tell the other ones you can pick from. So like, all right, so you've got your anonymous money, but I just told you not to spend all of it. What do? You tumble it. And what tumbling is, super easy. I got a good graph here, and sorry, I'm going through all this really fast. Tumbling is everyone takes their Bitcoins and essentially throws them in a big bag. And they're all broken up into micro Bitcoins, tiny, tiny pieces in this bag, and then a computer shakes that bag a lot. And then it hands you back almost what you put in because the tumbler takes his own fee. And you get back a bunch of Bitcoins that you have never purchased, that were never associated with you. And so now you've got mostly anonymous Bitcoins. Everyone get how that works? Makes sense? You just put a bunch of quarters in a bag and shake it up and pull your quarters back out, and they're probably not going to be the same quarters you put in. That's the general gist of tumbling. It works pretty well. This one here, this is a screenshot from one of the bigger tumblers. I know you probably can't see it. What this will even do, you can provide it with multiple Bitcoin wallets, so multiple sacks to put your Bitcoins in. And also it will divvy up the amount you're receiving back into randomized amounts and add those randomized amounts to each one of your wallets. And then also it will put delays, so they can't even tell that you're using a tumbling service. You can make it wait a day, 2 days before it adds the next amount to one of your other Bitcoin wallets. So that if they're trying to sync up a purchase you made with the purchase of some Bitcoins that you made, that's virtually impossible in this case because it's been split up so many ways and then deposited into all your different Bitcoin wallets in so many ways. Now you've got a big mess that somebody has to wade through. One other way you can hide your Bitcoins is also just to buy other altcoins and trade back and forth. This is actually a pretty solid means of investing. If you know what you're doing, it's essentially the same as currency investing. You buy some when they're low, and then when they go up, you sell them back, but you sell them back for a different altcoin, or you sell it back for Bitcoin maybe. And you can go back and forth with these, what is there, probably 100 of them up there, and this is not all of them. And so that's another big thing people are doing. That you can just spend your entire life investing this way and make a few bucks. Like, you don't even have to deal with buying physical items with Bitcoin. You can just do this and increase your profitability easy. So once we've got all of the tumbling done, everybody get that? Any questions on tumbling and buying Bitcoin? Shut up and take my money. Ready to start buying things? Let's get into all of the really cool stuff that you can buy on the dark web. Who frequents the dark web in here, by the way? Who's a regular dark web citizen? Not really anybody. That's really cool. Good. This is the target audience. You guys are going to love this. So a lot of people are afraid to go on the dark web and search for meth. It's like, I'm not going to search for meth. They're going to. So I have searched for meth for you, and that is my defense. No, seriously, I was doing it for these people I don't know. But they're going to love it. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, how do I buy drugs on the dark web? Who knows what movie that's from? Yeah, Requiem for a Dream. Don't watch it. It's scary as hell. But great little segment from there. There's a lot of places you can go buy drugs on the dark web. These are all marketplaces. By marketplaces, I literally mean like, this is your Amazon. This is your eBay. This is a really nice looking website where you can go and search for things, and there are sellers and there are buyers, and the sellers have ratings on them. So the buyers have rated these sellers. The products have ratings on them. You can sort by who has the best meth based on user reviews of the meth. And then, the question comes up, like, can I trust a meth user's review of meth? And there's two arguments. One, well, yeah, if a meth user gets bad meth, he's going to be pissed and you're going to hear about it. Or it's like, well, I don't know, his judgment might be a little skewed. All the meth might be the best meth he's ever had. I don't know. I haven't tried meth. It's on the long bucket list. I hope I don't get to it. But that's what's going on in these markets. I wish I had a laser pointer I could show you. These screens are huge, though. So I would say the top four right now are going to be like Alpha Bay, Dream Market, Valhalla, and Hansa. Alpha Bay's top left, Dream Market, Hansa top right, and then is Valhalla. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Anyway, we'll get to how to keep track of that in a little bit. The downside of these marketplaces is they go up and down all the time. You'll go to buy something one day and just the site's gone. It's just not coming up. And then the next day it's back. And then you go, what the heck was that? Was that feds taking the site over and then relaunching it so they could start catching people? Maybe. Sometimes yes. Or was it just like, this is dudes running stuff out of their basement and they bought a new house and are in a new basement? Sometimes yes. Sometimes it's just straight up technical failures. A lot of these bigger markets have full IT teams supporting them. It's pretty crazy, but sometimes they do go down. Sometimes they go down permanently, and sometimes when they go down permanently, it's what's called an exit scam, which is where they had a whole ton of money in escrow sitting inside of them, and they just left the country. They're like, cool, we got like 1.5 million Bitcoin sitting in here. Let's leave. Let's just go. And that happens all the time. So super dangerous, even in just that regard. Like, forget getting caught by the feds. Someone might just run off with your money. This isn't like an established, accredited escrow service. It's a dude in his basement, possibly in the Ukraine. And this stuff happens all the time. Right now, Outlaw just went down. That's looking to be more and more like an exit scam as the news comes in. The Detox is down. Oh, Mr. Nice Guy's down. What is that one? The Real Deal and Acropolis are kind of up and down. We're not sure what's going on with those two right now. But anyway, the easiest place to go look for all this stuff is deep.web, and you can actually just go to deep.web.com. You don't have to do it through Tor or anything. And on the right side, they've got a huge list, running list of who's up, what markets are up, what markets are down, what are the top markets by usage. And this is just a screenshot from deep.web. It's in the right column. It's a little hard to find unless you're looking for it. And it tells you hey, what markets are there? Alpha Bay, far and away most popular market most of the time. It's what everybody knows ever since Silk Road went down. Who remembers Silk Road? All the news about Silk Road, the dark website that everybody's buying drugs and guns on? Silk Road hands, just so I know who I'm talking to. Good. All right, cool. So these are what I'm actually a big fan of Hansa, which is the fourth one down. I find it really easy to use. It looks nice. It makes me feel better about buying my meth somewhere. So, they're all scary, and I'm not saying that any one of them is more safe than the other. I just like how Hansa looks and feels, and it's all about that look and feel, because I'm a Mac guy. Here's, and if you don't want to go through every market trying to find the best deal and everything, there's a great search engine out there called Grams. You could probably figure out why it's called Grams. That's the proper response. And you just like, hey, I'm looking for some sour diesel, which is a kind of weed. And I love, this looks like Google search results, doesn't it? That's intentional. And it pulls up like what the vendor's name is, what they're asking for it, and the description of the product. And then let me read one of these product descriptions to you because like it's beautiful. It's like poetry. Now mind you, this is for some marijuana. Grown indoor, sour diesel, sometimes called sour D, is a refreshing sativa named after its pungent diesel-like aroma. This fast-acting strain delivers energizing, dreamy, cerebral effects that have pushed sour diesel to its legendary status. Stress, pain, and depression fade away in long-lasting relief that makes sour diesel a top choice among medical patients. That is an ad for pot on the dark web. That's how serious this competition is. It sounds like it's an ad for tea. Like that's a refreshing like chai or an oolong. No, it's weed. Sour D, yo. Get that sour D. And like aside from marijuana, literally everything is out there. These were found within minutes of just, scraping grams or looking through the marketplaces. So it's that easy. I didn't have to spend weeks trying to find people who were selling this stuff out there. This is within your reach. You could do it during my talk, though I don't condone that. What we've got here, like we're selling, here's ecstasy, hashish. You can buy stuff for making your own LSD, like all like the stuff you need. The yeast strains and things like that, without getting into exactly what you need to make drugs. You can buy all the stuff you need to make your own drugs right there. Super easy. Prices vary, pretty reasonable. A lot of these screenshots, we see the screenshots directly. These were from last November. So divide those by about 3.5 times. Cause the Bitcoin skyrocketed. I don't know if anyone noticed, but it's worth a lot more than it was in November. And so like divide by 3.5. That's essentially what it comes out to. Pretty reasonable prices. More cultures for LSD production, modafinil, so prescription drugs for ADHD, depression, what have you. There's devil's breath on the bottom, which is allegedly, I believe it's big in Africa. They're claiming that muggers are using this devil's breath, and it's a powder, and you put it in your hand, and like you go up to your victim and you go like a voodoo priestess. And they inhale it and it knocks them out immediately, and then you take all their stuff. I haven't found any like scientific facts behind that being true, but the very fact that like the rumor exists, people are buying this stuff. Like seems like a really complicated way of like mugging someone. Like what if it doesn't work? Then what? You can't like, oh sorry man. Like it doesn't, you've already done something weird that now has to be addressed. Or you just do a little voodoo dance and then you run. So like it's not like a vetted market, but like they have user ratings where people are like, I totally knocked out 6 people with this dragon's breath. 2 thumbs up. I'm rich, yo. And not just like drugs for self-medication or mugging people. Like if you want to straight up murder someone, you can buy poison. This is an ad for ricin. Who knows what ricin is? And why do you all know what ricin is? Really, why do you know? Breaking Bad, Homeland. Yeah, this is the stuff that Walter White killed the little kid with in Breaking Bad. The little grain of rice that, yeah. And so it's undetectable because nobody looks for it in autopsies because it's so rare. And so like there's a little article here that says like the prosecutor says that this ricin vendor is convicted of theft and distribution, possibly extortion. Probably a reputable ricin vendor. Like that's like this guy's doing some illegal shit. He's not going to sell me fake ricin. Like it's cool. I'm in. So like all that being said, once you buy something, don't send it to your house. Don't. Because like half of these places, if not more than half, I don't know, nobody's really sure because it's all covert, are feds watching. A lot of these are places where the feds raided the place, captured all the junk, like have all the drugs, and then use those drugs to lure people into being caught. Or the feds will run the marketplace, and when you buy something, they'll ship you some meth. And then they go to your house and wait for that meth to arrive, and as soon as you open it up, they raid your house. So you want like what's called a dead drop, which is effectively any place where you know you can securely have a package delivered that's not traced to you and that you can go pick that package up without anyone knowing you did it. I'm from Chicago. I do a lot of work in the Chicago Loop, which is a ton of skyscrapers, which generally have floors here and there that are currently unused, that are for lease. And I was working at a client site, and I got off the wrong floor once accidentally, and it was like clearly an abandoned floor as I step out of the elevator, and I look around, and it's all these empty offices. And I look down this way, and there's like just this UPS package sitting at the foot of this door, and I'm like, there's nobody here. And I walked over and I looked, and it said like it was for like in a room on that floor, and it had like a obviously fake name on it. It was something hilarious. And I'm like, oh, this is a dead drop. And I gave it a little sniff, like you do. And it was definitely some contraband that someone was having delivered to a floor in a skyscraper that they knew was abandoned. They probably work at some other office in that building. But as long as they can go pick it up without getting caught on camera and smuggle it out of there, you're all set. Or there was cops on the other side of that door waiting for the dead drop to get picked up. Could go either way. You never know. So just be smart about it. They've got a lot of the shipping companies now are starting to have dogs that are looking for these things that are just sniffing all the boxes that come through. So you can get busted that way. Some of them are not. I won't tell you who's who. So yes, you can buy drugs on the dark web extremely easily. And you can tell who has the best drugs based on the user ratings. So go have fun with that. It's fantastic. Don't buy any. Don't buy drugs, kids. But go check it out. It's fun and weird. Aside from drugs, what else does anybody want to buy on the dark web? What's next after drugs? Guns. They got a chorus of guns in the back. Guns! All right, let's talk about guns. I'll do guns. Taking your requests up here, guys. You can buy guns on the dark web. There's not a lot of them out there. And the prices aren't that great, and you have to go through this whole rigmarole of, secretly escrowing the money to someone you don't know, hoping that they're going to send you your product, because you don't even know if they're really selling it. They're just looking to take your money and run. It's a sketchy scenario, and we live in a country where it's really easy to just go buy a gun. You can go to gun shows in certain states and just be like, here's $2,000 in cash. I'll take that one. And they go, cool, thanks, man. Here's your gun. It really, cause we have that whole gun show loophole where you really can do that. I'm not making that up. So to go on the dark web and buy firearms that you can just legally go get anywhere else is ridiculous. Why would you go through all this trouble? And also I'd say the same amount, if not more so, feds are watching gun sales on the dark web. There's so many fake guns for sale. I mean, fake, as in the auction is fake or the sale is fake. It's actually fed on the other end. Or there's a fed somewhere in the middle watching everything go through. It's just not worth it. I see these are news articles, just headlines saying all these people who got busted selling guns or feds that busted all these gun rings. And it's I see this more than anything else for stuff that gets busted on the dark web is arms sales. So it's just don't do it. Just go to the store. You want to buy a gun, just go to the store. If you're a convicted felon, maybe I understand, you're not allowed to buy a gun. I think you could still just go to the gun show and pick one up anyway. Even though you're not allowed to own one, I think you can at least buy one there, but you didn't hear that from me. Gun laws in this country are weird for obvious reasons. It's a very heated argument. Besides guns, you can buy, radium. This is nuclear weapons grade radioactive material. This was a Polish woman who got busted, I think, taking it into past the Croatian border where they caught her, and her car was just filled with R-226, which is about 2.7 million times more radioactive than natural uranium. And so she claimed she was using it for medical purposes, and she hid just this big box of it, and they raided her house, and her house was full of jewelry that she had made out of this radium that is 2.7 million times more radioactive than uranium. And she would wear it. She said that she had cancer and it was helping to cure her cancer. And so in a very some people wear crystals and say, oh, the crystals have healing powers. Well, she was wearing radioactive materials. And I think like her lines got crossed because she heard like, oh, we use radiation to try to defeat cancer. And so she's like, I'm just going to defeat the middleman and go buy some fucking radium. You know what this doctor costs? Do you know how much radium I can get for that? I can cure the whole neighborhood. Let's do that. And she was buying it off the dark web, which means somebody's out there with a garage full of it. Like, man, how are we going to unload all of this radium? I know, the dark web. Polish women love this stuff. So like, it's a thing. Anything you want to buy to kill people, it's pretty much out there. With, and speaking of which, I mean, what about like Hitmen? That's another big people thing. Oh, we can go on the dark web now and get a Hitman. It's not Craigslist anymore. I love this GIF. Isn't this the best? This is my favorite part of the talk, and I'm going to walk you guys through. Get your notepads out, get your pens ready. I am going to teach you, in very explicit terms, how to hire a hitman on the dark web for, your daily needs, just your average. Pissed you off on Xbox. So here, ready? Silence, please. You don't. Period. The end. You do not hire hitmen on the dark web. Who knows Dread Pirate Roberts? One of the guys named Dread Pirate Roberts who ran the Silk Road. Who remembers how he got busted and how the Silk Road was broken up? He hired a hitman off the dark web. He hired a hitman who was a federal agent posing on the dark web as a hitman. This is the guy who was running the largest dark web marketplace in history, who knows all the shady crap that goes on out there, and he hired a hitman. They're not out there, is the thing. There are no hitmen on the dark web. They're either scammers who are just going to take your money and run, or they're feds just trying to do pseudo entrapment into catching you, into trying to hire hitmen. That's all. Real hitmen are not on the dark web, because real hitmen are not out there advertising their services, even on the dark web, because they don't need to. Because real hitmen, generally, they work for a criminal organization where they're protected by said criminal organization. They have lawyers. They have people to cover up their crime scenes. Like, they're all squared away. They're very well paid by these mafias and such. They don't need your $5,000 because you're pissed at a guy who killed you in Call of Duty. Like, you are not, average Joe is not their target demographic. They don't need to deal with it. Like, the risk of getting caught, they don't know if you're real. Like, then they go to prison for life if they get caught. Like, they're not interested in playing around in this stupid one-off realm. They work for criminal organizations primarily. And while I can see, like, organized crime moving to use the darknet to arrange hits, in the next few years, maybe we're not there yet. Like, we don't live in this like cyberpunk future where like you could just go on the internet and hire anything you want and it's legit and there's no law. Like, it's not the Wild West that everyone thinks the dark web is, and it's because it's just as easy it is for you and I to get to the dark web, so can every 3-letter agency. It's not like you're doing something they haven't figured out yet. You're downloading Tor and typing a thing into the title bar. Like, you can teach a little kid to do this. You can teach a monkey to do this. So there's not hitmen. I'm not telling you not to hire the hitmen because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm telling you, they don't exist there. And any listing you see for a hitman is fake. Don't let them fool you. They're not there. End of story. Moving on. What is there? Cyber hitmen. The hackers. People offering hacker service. These are mostly legit. And that's really cool, because then you feel like you're in that like cyber future where like you can go on the dark web and hire a hacker to put a hit out on somebody's computer, I guess. It's like that doesn't have the weight, but yeah, they're out there and they're legit. And the way a lot of them operate is you say, hey, here's what I'm looking for. They offer services like, hey, I'll change your grades. Hey, I'll get rid of your track record or whatever. And you tell them like what your situation is. They go look into it and they come back and they say, yes, I can do it. Here's the price. And that's generally because they go make sure they can do it first and then come back to you and go, yeah. So that's cool. Like, you're actually pretty sure that you're going to be able to get a legit hack pulled off. This dude here, it says, hey, hello, I am Norf, and I have been programming and hacking for about 7 years. I am very active in the hacking community, though I've never I'm extremely active in the hacking community. I've never come across him. So he's active in this hacking community, I think. And would love to help or partner with you. I offer many different services for extremely low prices. If you want to contact me, my email is norf@sigaint.org. That's a great indicator, or at least it was. Sigaint.org was pretty much the de facto private, secure email service out there in the dark web. It was fantastic. You would get 2 email addresses from it, and nothing was logged at all. You could not do password resets. Nothing was logged. Nothing, nowhere, ever. It was a fantastic service. You could get to it through Tor. It was the best. It went down, I want to say April in 15, and then came up again a little later, and I think it's still down again. Probably there was a hack against it that leaked a bunch of users, but it wasn't too useful. But anyway, like that used to be a great way to spot someone who's legit. It's like if he's got a sigaint.org email address, he at least knows what he's talking about here. Look at these services. Account hacking, that's like anywhere from bank account to Netflix account, 0.08 BTC, database hacking depending on the size, and that's like he'll hack in and just dump the whole database for you. Website hacking depends on the site, depends on what you want to do to the site. Grade change, DDoS. DDoSes are just the cheapest. Like really don't pay someone else to DDoS anything, just rent your own botnet. It's like, there's botnets out there for $2.50 an hour, and I mean like $2.50. That's like why DDoS is nuts. It's so incredibly cheap. They'll dox people if you want. So like really cool. So getting back to talking about people pissing you off on Call of Duty, another big service here is swatting. Who knows what swatting is? Wow, that's cool. A lot of people know what swatting is. Swatting is the act of sicking a SWAT team on someone you don't like, even though they've done nothing wrong. Hilarious gag, right? Like when your house gets raided with guys with like live ammunition and smoke grenades and stuff. Like, oh, you got me. Oh, that's cool. When that flashbang went off in the baby's crib. Oh man, that's what sealed the deal. Which is a thing that happens. And that's why these services are super dangerous, because a lot of these SWAT teams, especially in smaller municipalities, they're untrained. These are police organizations that were given extremely discounted military gear from our military. The Department of Defense was like, oh, we're not using this stuff, let's get rid of it, sell it to the police organizations. So these are guys with serious military-grade equipment who have not been trained in any of its use or have gotten like the 1-hour crash course that was like a WebEx. And it's like, here's how you use a flashbang grenade via WebEx. And so there's multiple, news stories. You've probably seen a few of them where they bust a window and throw the flashbang grenade in and it lands in the baby's crib. Like, this is happening. Or just, they've killed an elderly man was one I saw recently. They busted in because they had the wrong address or something, and he stood up and they shot him, and he had nothing to do with anything. So sending a SWAT team to someone's house is not a great gag, because people can get killed and injured in this process, partly because these teams are untrained. You're not sending in like SEAL Team 6 to someone's house. You're sending in Mayberry. You're sending in Andy Griffith in SWAT gear to some kid's house he pissed you off. But so look at the price on that. $100. $100. Yeah. Let's see. 100 USD, delivers within 10 days. I like the username, June Kit Kat. It's a cute little username. I'm June Kit Kat. Want to get someone swatted? Hit me up. We'll take care of it. No problem. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, takes Bitcoin. June's pretty cool. So moving on from all of that, let's talk about just straight up malware. You could totally buy malware on the web real easy, not just executables, but the code itself. I am going to run through this really fast. We've got keyloggers, we've got rats, we've got, for $2,000 there, you've got a rat with source code and a code signing cert. Pretty much, and so there's huge price differences here. Like you're looking at a full private rat for $5, a rat with source code and code signing for $2,000, and a keylogger for $50. Why is that full private rat only $5? Who knows what rats are? Do I have to explain rats? Remote access terminals. It's just getting into someone else's system. It's a thing that just phones home to you and you can get in. Or something around those lines. So a lot of these $5 ones, they're out there everywhere. the AV vendors already have SIGs for them. Like, they're going to get caught. Like, it's really hard to get one of those to work. But it's only $5. You can try it. The ones that are including the source code and the code signing certs and are like $2,000, usually those are the ones where pretty much they've never been used ever anywhere. And you're going to be the sole owner of that. So the chances are, as long as you're safe with it, AV isn't going to pick that up. It's pretty much a guaranteed thing. It'll tell you what it exploits and so what systems it targets, and so you have to make sure you're following that along. But that's a thing. Here's an Android phone rat for $2.20. Probably only works on like Android 2.0, which is a significant portion of Android users still globally. Here's somebody selling the Zeus botnet code for $3.30. Why is that $3? Because you can find the Zeus code like literally anywhere. It's on like every other GitHub. Like, there's no reason to pay money for it. Banking Trojan. Most sold. This one targets Windows and Mac OS X. Updated, patched. Here's a great one here. $45. Here's a botnet malware with setup service. What does that mean, with setup service? That means what you think it means. That means, hey, we'll hold your hand and walk you through getting everything set up to make sure that it's working to your satisfaction. We'll help you stand up the C2 server. We'll help you get this deployed for $45. You're getting personal concierge service. You're getting an SE with that sale. And that's like how crazy this market has gotten. Like, you have to go above and beyond to get those customers. Like, why would I buy this, botnet when I can go buy that botnet that's $2 cheaper? And it's like, well, we're going to help you out. We'll give you some of them give you full lifetime 24/7 support, phone support. You call a call center and they troubleshoot with you like any other piece of software. And this is a botnet. This is malware. This is you illegally infecting people's machines for your own nefarious purposes, and you're calling tech support. And they speak English, and they're more than happy to help you. Like, that's a legit thing that is going on out there. There's definitely O-days for sale out there. Tons of O-days. So that means no AV has picked up on any of these. Often the software that it targets, the manufacturer isn't aware of that exploit yet. Those are usually pretty expensive. You'll see here, this one's $500 for 3 copies. And that usually means that they produce 3 obfuscated copies. So like, even if those get busted, like if your first one gets busted, your other 2 are going to be legit because there's only a SIG for the code on the first one. And that's still $500 for 3 of them. Internet Explorer O-days are out there. Super easy to find. Here's POS malware, like point of sale malware. Here's ATM malware. ATM malware, $10. $10. And this is probably going to run on any ATM that's running Windows XP, which is most ATMs. $10. $10 to own an ATM. $10 to own all the ATMs that you can get into. That's insanity. The POS malware, which includes a panel, a builder, and source. The panel is like an administrator panel, like an easy point and click GUI for like dumping POSs. Like, you just backdoor into it. Oh, here's your panel. Let me click that, add this, transfer those funds out, whatever. $25. Who's got $25 to own some POSs? You want to go in on one? $25. It's that cheap. That's why this stuff is so prevalent out there. It's this cheap. Spamming software, all you need for spamming. My personal favorite, the LOIC, low orbit ion cannon. Who knows what the low orbit ion cannon is? Those are my lulzsec guys from like 5 years ago. Low orbit ion cannon was like the original like massive DDoS tool. This is the one that like Anonymous was using in its early days when it was raiding places and when it was actually getting people to band together to DDoS. This was the tool they would tell you to use. They would say, go here, download it, here's everything you need to know how to run it, here's the time to make it launch. Somebody's selling it. Like, this is a free utility that Anonymous actively distributed, and also, like, you can't run that on anything anymore. Like, everything's been patched against that. $3. So some guy's like, I'll take your $3. Like, if you're dumb enough to buy it, I'll take you $3. So make sure you know what you're buying. Research this stuff. Don't just be like, oh, it's $50. That must be good, or it's $500, so I know it's legit. Research it. Make sure the source code isn't already out there for you to just get. A lot of these leak on other dark web hacker sites. And so you just compile it yourself and save yourself $500. So yeah, in conclusion, yes, malware's out there. Yes, it's cheap. Yes, this is the entirety of our problem. Counterfeit goods. Super easy to find out there. Tons of counterfeit goods. Really weird counterfeit goods. All the way from like not just cash, but gold, platinum, silver, like counterfeit gold, counterfeit silver. A lot of them are listed as like, oh, sold as movie props. But they look really, really, really legitimate, and you could probably pass them off to a shitty pawn shop. Counterfeit old coins, like counterfeit pirate doubloons you can buy. Like anything you can hope to try and sell. Down here, here's people selling the stuff you need to make your own counterfeit stuff. These are holograms for certain countries' notes that have the holograms in them. Like here, they'll sell 1,000-pack for $340 so you can print $100 bills. You've got counterfeit fashion accessories, like those are counterfeit sunglasses. These are like, $1,000 sunglasses someone's selling for $33 a pop. They look just, here's the Nike Air Yeezys, the Kanye West Airs that were never actually released anywhere. Someone's selling a knockoff pair for $450 that look identical. Everyone will think you have them. Everyone will think that you are friends with Kanye. And that's what you want. Like, then people think you're cool. Like, dude, that dude knows Kanye. He's got to be elite hacker. Yeah, $450 you could tell people you're friends with Kanye. Is that worth $450? No. Correct answer is no. Good call. Here's a fake gold Rolex. Here's Chanel purses. Like, all that stuff's out there. Anything that you would think you would buy in like a Chinese knockoff flea market right there in the dark web, often for more than you would pay if you just like went somewhere, like went to one of the baskets in Manhattan where people are selling these counterfeits out of. So not a great idea. Like, it's still way too expensive and way too big of a hassle to be dealing with this garbage. It's dumb. Who does not have a college degree? Because you do now. Pretty much you can name the university and likely they'll be able to find a copy of the degree and then print it up and send it to you. And they don't just print up the degree, like they have the gold foil on there. They have the impression stamps, like they mimic it to a T. This is a legitimate copy of a legitimate university degree. Whose job has bothered to verify their degree with the college? Almost nobody. There's always a couple. Some do it, and that's cool. Most companies don't. They might once you get up to like maybe director, probably VP level and above there, they're going to start scrutinizing your background to make sure that they're not going to get screwed by somebody who's lying to them. But most anything below director level positions, they usually aren't going to check your college degrees. And so if you're just trying to scam your way into somewhere for a few bucks, there's your degree. You can hang it right on your wall. No one will know. Who plays Magic the Gathering? That's a small amount. Don't be embarrassed. We all play it here. Or I guess just me. There we go. There, there's the enthusiastic hand wave. Yes, come on. Magic the Gathering. Well, now you can kick everyone's ass. This is a P9 card, which is it's a big deal. I know. $350 for a P9 card. It's clearly counterfeit to anyone who collects and scrutinizes cards and deals in such things. So you probably wouldn't be able to sell it to someone at Gen Con or Dragon Con or something. But if it's something you just whip out of your deck while you're playing to devastate somebody, you'll totally be able to pull it off. They won't notice that it's counterfeit. $350. Is it worth $350 to win a ton of Magic the Gathering games? Sometimes. Depends on your income and your ego problems. I don't judge out loud. P9s? Talk to me afterwards. I got them all in the room. They're laid out on the bed so you can peruse. I sell them like other people sell guns in the hotel. Oh, this is a mock sapphire, man. Moving on. So, speaking of counterfeit bills, let's just talk counterfeit people. Counterfeit alternate identities. Absolutely. Completely. Super easy to get your hands on. You're going to start off with you're going to probably want to start off with what's called a FOLS. And that's with a Z, because that's how old some of these people are. The old school hackers are the X's and the Z's. And that is, it's a full identity information workup. They typically include full name, date of birth, physical and email addresses, phone numbers, Social Security or some other kind of national ID number, and all that. PII profiles are available for like tons of different countries. So if you want to be someone who lives in some other country, they'll probably be able to hook it up. And they're not terribly expensive. Like, you would think something like that, $15,000, $20,000. Way less. Depends on like who's selling it and the quality and how fast you get it. But $15,000 is a lot to pay for something like this. It's much cheaper than you would think. And that's pretty much like, that's me now. I'm this guy. And these are all like legit, really good looking documents. You can buy something as simple as like, here's bank statements, here's utility bills. Why would you need a counterfeit utility bill? To prove that you live somewhere else. Yeah, if you want to change your registered address with the state, what do they tell you to do? Oh, just bring in like 2 pieces of utility bills that say you live there, and then we'll change your... Yeah, it's that easy. I mean, really, like, also it's something you can do on your own if you have a scanner and MS Paint, but... I know, like, I don't see a whole lot of complicated hologrammed utility bills out there. But, like, if you want to pay somebody... What is that now? 1/100th of a Bitcoin to do it for you, maybe it's worth it. Credit reports, like counterfeit credit reports, what's that good for? Purchasing a home, they're probably going to contact the credit agency directly. But like a lot of rental properties, if you're trying to rent something, you can go in with a fake credit report, and they'll like that because it'll save them the time of having to go pay to have it done. Be like, all right, I got a credit report. It's dated yesterday. Here you go. And they're like, cool, thanks. Looks good. You're in. And you could put your fake identity's name on there too. So now your fake identity has a credit score, and you can hand that off. And now you're somebody living somewhere else, and the state thinks you're living in a third place. If you want to be able to travel the world under your fake identity, yes, you can buy fake passports. And it's the old style where they like scrape the old picture off with the razor blade, and then put yours in there, and then put the hologram over it. Like, some of these look really, really, really legit. Like when you're in that long ass line going into Finland, I guess that line wouldn't be long. Iceland now, Reykjavik, forget it. You're in that airport for 4 hours just trying to get in. When your number, oh man. All right, so they're really good. They're really good passports. Trust me on that. We're almost done. Company IDs, driver's license templates, social security number templates, Canadian passport PSDs, data dumps. These are the ones you guys all see, where like everyone's like, oh, 600,000 accounts were compromised for Coachella. Like, why would you want 600,000 Coachella accounts? Anybody? What are you going to do with Coachella accounts? Usernames and passwords from Coachella. Why would you want Coachella's usernames and passwords? Because they use those same usernames and passwords everywhere. Yeah, that's fantastic. Everyone wants to get their hands on those dumps. And they're super cheap. Here's Netflix, Xfinity, DirecTV accounts so that you can stream things remotely. And what's great about those is like the account owners don't even know that there's more people on their account using it, because most of these services don't have any means of it alerting you to that whatsoever. You can buy shell companies. I like to give those. I was trying to find shell company that came up, and I'm like, oh, it's super satisfying. I've probably watched that for half hour at a shot. Oh, that's great. Look at it go. Okay, we're running out of time though. Yeah, you can buy pre-existing companies to do all your dirty operatings out of. There's a ton of Russian ones. Right now, like you can buy shell companies and business bank drops, but like the quality tends to be not that great right now. Most of the shell companies, like all the good stuff, that's all the shady lawyers have all those already. All the Saul Goodmans have their hands on all the really great ones. So buying shell companies on the dark web is you're not going to get away with a lot. But you can have one and try and mature it on your own if you have the time, and that's cool. Like, you can buy it, it's just they're like, not that great. You can, let's talk about human trafficking. This was the best GIF I could find for that, and I really apologize. So like people are like, oh, you can buy people on the dark web, right? Like, oh, they're selling human beings. Like you get a container full of Chinese people. And that's not the case. Like not at least accessible through the dark web. Like you can go through like individual organizations, personal dark nets, then dark webs, but they have to like contact you and give you access. Like you have to gain their trust, and it's a big pain in the ass. Honestly, the best way that human trafficking is still proliferating in America is Craigslist. Freaking Craigslist is like way worse than the dark web, and it's right there. And anyone can go to Craigslist and buy yourself a 13-year-old babysitter. I'm going to read you the description of this ad for the babysitter because it's cringeworthy and it's horrifying, but it's kind of funny in what they're doing, but they're doing a terrible thing. So I won't judge you if you laugh, but it's weird. Need a baby-sitter? I'm your girl. I'll love your kids and inspire true passion in them for me. I'll be there for families adjusting to a recent separation, divorced men. Not just for the kids, for divorced men. For you divorced male. You're a really nice man. I really think so. Where did that come from? Like now it's like, it's expository. Like, oh, she knows me. She's talking to me in this ad that's printed in a public place. And I'll tell your batshit crazy wife I think so too. What's going on in this ad? Interests include older men, amateur photography, available after school and weekends, so she's probably 16, and for sale. And this is not her, these are not the girls putting these ads up, these are the organizations that own these women that put these ads up. And it's horrifying, and it's constantly trying to be dealt with the police. And it's right there on Craigslist. You don't even need Tor. It's legit a thing. We're almost out of time, so I'm going to move past the scammers. These are really hilarious. I'll have a link to my slides at the end. The scammers are great. You can report when someone's a scammer in a lot of these marketplaces, and you tell your story. And so people know, hey, don't buy from that guy because he scams these other people's. And a lot of these are, just people that having these hilarious complaints because they made the mistake, of finishing early. Like, I ordered my free meth sample and never came. Like, I love that first sentence. Free meth sample. I think we're done here. Don't have to read that. This is a dude who, the deal was put the money in the escrow, and then I'll send you the stuff. And then he convinced them to finish early, which means that he released the money from the escrow before he received the product. And then he never received the product, complained to the guy, and the guy was like, oh man, I'm sorry. Here, we'll take care of you. Put this extra money in the escrow, and then we'll send you more stuff, and then so this guy complains that he got scammed twice by the same guy in the same transaction. So, this was an underage kid who bought a very illegal gun on the dark web, and then he was like, if I just send it back, then I didn't do anything illegal, right? He put this on Reddit. He put it on Reddit I'm in trouble because I bought illegal guns. Can I just send them back and it's cool? He said his parents told him that. And he's like, oh, but it's illegal in the States, so if we change states, then it's cool? What's the deal? No, you've broken the law and you're done here. Some great names from the scammer reports. McBiatz, making easy money for you. Anything that's making easy money for you or fast and safe, that's your flag. They're doing none of those things. Anyone who puts it in your face, hey, in your face, well, we're fast and safe, right here. Run fast, go be safe. Personal favorite scammer on the bottom, Escrow Escobar. Do not give your money to a man named Escrow Escobar. Probably a scammer. So pushing through, wrapping up. It's not just for pedophiles and drug dealers though. There's lots of cool stuff you can do on the dark web that's totally legal. Facebook's got a dark website. The pirate party is on the dark web. Lots of blogs, weird discussion forums for is a specific entire site dedicated to erectile dysfunction discussion, with individual subjects in the forum and stuff and different sections. It's how much discussion could be going on? But there it is. You can buy legal stuff a pound of sand, a pet brick. Let me real quick, I'm going to read the sand. I know you guys want to go to lunch. So the description for the sand is from the motherfucking beach, yo. Guaranteed pure with no additional cuts or adulterants. What does that sound like it is? Sounds like cocaine, right? Yeah, so get a pound of sand today and be the envy and possibly laughing stock of all your friends. So you're thinking like, oh, he's selling cocaine and he's trying to like hide it as sand. So if you look at like the complaints on this guy, they're all like, he shipped me sand! I gave him $50 and I got a pound of sand. This guy's a scammer. That's right there. Same with brick, like, oh, a brick, right? Oh, a brick of something. It's a brick. So like, why? That's why you would buy that. And finally, FOIA dumps, text dumps, lots of cool, who knows the Cicada 3301 puzzle? Who remembers that one? Cool, awesome, like CTF that took place on the entirety of the internet, including lots of shit in the dark web, and lots of like stuff you had to decrypt and thought puzzles and picture puzzles and cryptography, just really cool. And every few years they seem to launch it again. So like keep an eye out next time you see Cicada 3301. Awesome, challenging thing. Nearly nobody ever solves it, and it's all over the dark web. There's porn, there's different porn, there's other porn. There's Rule 34 porn, and then there's like there's definitely illegal porn out there. If you just accidentally stumble upon it, just close the tab. You're fine. The feds aren't going to come ringing your bell. They're looking for the people who are distributing it mainly. But just be aware, like, don't surf it at work. Like, you might come across something. So that's all I got time for today. Sorry I had to be so short. Like I said, I am here all today and tomorrow. So if you got further questions, you want to extrapolate on some stuff, talk about what I found, I'm Johnny Christmas. Come and grab me. There's the link to the slide deck if you want to like get into some of the stuff I missed and things like that. Go ahead and take pictures of that and email me. Hit me up on Twitter. That's the best way. Thanks once again. Thank you all for staying. Enjoy your lunch. Oh man, I was only like 2 minutes over.